Guys, we are so close to a world where movie-quality MCU TV shows will be a regular thing. Loki, Wandavision, Moon Knight, What If, She-Hulk, and more are on their way to Disney+. But first, Marvel is starting us with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We get to watch as Anthony Mackie picks up the shield from Chris Evans and becomes the new Captain America. But which villains will he have to face off with once he dons the star-spangled suit at last? Let's dive into all the different Captain America villains who could appear on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, so let's just get the most obvious one out of the way. It's a show that's going to be about a new Captain America. What could possibly cement Sam Wilson's place as the new Cap more than having him fight Steve Rogers' arch-nemesis, the Red Skull? Last we saw of him, old Johann Schmidt was the keeper of the Soul Stone on Vormir. Now that Thanos destroyed the stone, Schmidt is hypothetically free of his service to it. He's probably free to go. This does lead to the hilarious idea that the Red Skull would have to hitchhike across the galaxy back to Earth. Imagine him having to make awkward small talk about how he's a red-faced fascist with no nose who used to guard a magical rock. Once he gets home, though, it probably won't take long for him to cause trouble once again. He would have landed right after Thanos snapped away half the population. This would be the perfect time to infiltrate the governments of the world and to start a new Hydra. If there's a government agent in the show who appears to be pulling the strings, just wait for the moment where he pulls that mask off. Those characters are almost always the Red Skull. The Marvel movie that comes out before Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Natasha Romanoff's long-awaited solo film Black Widow. In it, we'll meet the famous Marvel villain TASKMASTER. He's known for mastering all of the fighting techniques of all the Marvel heroes. He's also known for being one of the most annoying boss fights in the new Spider-Man game. Not only that, but he'll appear as probably the most annoying boss in the new Avengers game as well. That being said, he would make for a pretty cool villain of the show. From the Black Widow trailer, it looks like he has a shield that's like Captain America's. It would be cool to see Sam Wilson have a shield fight to prove that all that work throwing his into trees was worthwhile. That's how you train to use vibranium shields, right? There's surprisingly little research into the subject. We know that the Falcon series is followed by Wanda Maximoff's Wandavision series. The show may look pretty goofy and weird to people unfamiliar with the comics, but House of M fans know it spells disaster. You see, in the comics, Wanda and Vision get married. Wanda also uses her magic to create a few kids. This ends up causing a lot of mayhem, and the children have to be erased along with her memories of them. When she remembers, though, she goes pretty crazy and turns on the Avengers. Then she uses her powers to change reality, and the Avengers have to set everything back. To be fair, they have a lot of experience in this area. It tends to happen quite a lot. It's possible that Falcon might hint at these events coming up. Maybe there's a mysterious force changing random parts of reality. Marvel does like setting up things for payoffs later. Though we're never going to see if Steve Rogers ever watched Star Wars. How great would that scene have been? If you were a comics fan in 2017, there was one thing you talked about more than anything else. That was the infamous moment in Captain America Steve Rogers where Cap said the words "Hail Hydra." This was the lead up to the Scarlet Empire event and one of the most controversial moments in comic book history. Cap turned on his former allies as he was revealed to be a Hydra agent all along. While this was all just a plot by the Red Skull, it was still pretty hard for longtime Cap fans to watch. That being said, it would be pretty amazing to see Sam Wilson Captain America take on his old buddy. Maybe if there are some WandaVision antics, Sam will come across an alternate reality Hydra Cap. They did already kind of tease it when Cap said the magic words in Endgame. Sam should definitely finish him with like a shield to the left-hand side of his face. That way he could use the "on your left" line. Okay guys, we have to face the facts here. Thanos is done. He made history as one of the greatest movie villains of all time, but he got taken out twice in Endgame. The party's over. Now we need a new big bad in the MCU to string all of these movies together. Luckily, Disney came through with a checkbook and bought back one of Marvel's all-time greatest villains. That's right, Dr. Doom. Now, if you've only seen the movies, you probably aren't that big of a fan of Doom. You either remember him as that annoying businessman from Nip Tuck or as the weird hacker from Black Mirror. Seriously, he's Marvel's Darth Vader, and so far his portrayals have been so weird. So why would anyone want to see him in the MCU? Well, here's a panel of him with god powers pulling Thanos' skeleton out of his body. That should be enough for you. If the series does have some sort of mystery man who helped Zemo escape and is pulling the strings, Doom would be perfect. Seeing as they like to keep things connected in the MCU, maybe he's just a patchwork of different Marvel abilities. His armor could be a makeshift Iron Man armor spiked with Doctor Strange's magic and potentially some weapons of Asgardian design. All this being said, it would be pretty weird if Doctor Doom was introduced in a Captain America-style television show. He's typically a Fantastic Four villain. Maybe they could just mention his name in passing just to reference that he exists in the universe. This is basically how they introduced Thanos, so that would be appropriate. Also, they should definitely mention that the Avengers Tower has become the Baxter Building from Fantastic Four as well. Then they could finally release that John Krasinski, Emily Blunt F4 film of our dreams that could introduce Doom properly. Kevin Feige would just have to figure out a better way to make Victor Von Doom not sound stupid. I believe in you, Kevin. There are some villains like Loki and Ultron that just demand to be seen in live action. They just have iconic looks that would make for excellent costumes or special effects. And then there's MODOK. The mental organism designed only for killing is one of Marvel's weirdest creations. The guy looks like a giant head on a rocket chair. He's actually a pretty formidable foe once you get to know him. Honestly, this is more of a gauntlet that us at the Binger have decided to throw at Kevin Feige and the folks at Disney+. We just really want to see how in the world they would pull this character off on a television budget. Sure, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of did it, but they didn't commit to the whole giant head on a rocket chair conceit. We need to see a giant head on a rocket chair, MCU, so get to it! The Captain America movies became known for having classic comic villains make quick appearances. Crossbones, Baron von Strucker, and the robotic Zola all make short appearances in the films. One of these minor villains made a much bigger impression than all the others, though. That would be the French pirate version of BATROC the Leaper in Captain America the Winter Soldier. Mostly, this was because Cap wasn't really that tough of a superhero before Winter Soldier. Sure, he had some cool moments, but none that were quite as brutal as Iron Man's. That all changed in his second solo film. The Russo brothers took a superhero Jason Bourne approach to Cap and had him take down some pirates in an epic fashion. Then he had a showdown with BATROC which showed just how tough Captain America truly was. So it would be pretty cool to see Bucky or Sam fight against him in the new show. If they really want to sell us on Sam as the new Cap, they should have him fight against one of Cap's baddies. It looks like the MCU world is pretty broken up about the whole losing Captain America thing. To be fair, he's not even real in our world, and we are too. So the government seems to be seeking a replacement in the new Falcon series. Apparently everyone's already forgotten Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Patriot. If you're a fan of the comics, you'll probably recognize the US agent character. John Walker was a soldier who underwent experiments to become super-powered. He was eventually brought in to replace Captain America when Steve Rogers left the moniker. After Rogers returned, he went by the name US Agent. We don't really know what his purpose is in Falcon and the Winter Soldier just yet. While it would certainly be cool if he was a superhero, it would be much better if he was a villain. Sam Wilson having a showdown with Walker over who gets to be Captain America would be the perfect moment to cap off the series. See what I did there? Cap off? Okay, we'll just move on. If we're having a conversation about MCU villains, legally we're obliged to bring up one specific Marvel villain. We had our extensive legal team at the Binger look over the YouTube constitution, but there is no wiggle room. There's no other recourse but to talk about Galactus. Not that that's a problem, though. Galactus is pretty awesome. The famous planet-eating cosmic villain seems destined to appear in the MCU at some point. It would be kinda cool if the villain was alluded to in Falcon. We know that Nick Fury has some sort of space mission, but we don't know what it is just yet. Perhaps they can see the giant baddie coming from space and are preparing for his imminent arrival. Even after taking on Thanos and his legions twice, Galactus will still be their toughest opponent. Now let's see how they design that pointy purple hat for the big screen. It can't be worse than the Rise of the Silver Surfer, that's for sure. Secretary Ross has become quite the MCU mainstay over the years. He and his glorious mustache have appeared in 4 of the movies thus far. He even somehow scored an invite to Tony Stark's funeral. His plans to secure government-sanctioned superheroes have been pretty unsuccessful thus far, but he's a tenacious one. It wouldn't be surprising if he was behind the US Agent project. That wouldn't be the end for him, though. If he has a continued role in the MCU, it's only a matter of time before he tries again. This could lead to an MCU version of the Thunderbolts. It's basically a super team made up of Marvel villains. Usually this team is led by Zemo, and now that he's back to be the main villain of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it would only be natural for him to form his infamous team. Perhaps Thunderbolt Ross is the one who puts it together. He could recruit Zemo out of prison like the Suicide Squad. This could be how he breaks out and starts to terrorize the heroes again. Maybe he'll even use those secret code words to turn Bucky Barnes back into the Winter Soldier and put him on the team. It's also possible that villains like BATROC and Ghost could be on the team as well. Falcon may end up having to run a gauntlet of villains to prove himself worthy to be the next Captain America. No matter what happens, we know that he's more than up for the challenge. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the potential bad guys from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let us know if there are any other villains you want to see in the comments. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more Marvel action from The Binger.